Acapella, boys.
Da-da, da, da-da, da, da-da. Okay.
Okay, we are on air.
Yay.
Uh,
It's just
hey there, everybody. Sorry about this. It's kind of screwy. This is our first attempt of trying something different. Hopefully, something better. We've been having issues with the UStream the last 2 or 3 shows.
Years.
Yeah. That was Mike Marlowe there. You can see, as you can see, and you can actually see him now.
Scary.
Oh, that was a great face there, Mike. They get that. They get to see that too. And also joining us in the hangout is James Pickering from A Galaxy Called Dallas blog. He's a new member. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to jump on you there, James. He's a new member of the fellowship. We've known how long we known you, man? How long?
let me see. Probably June. I think June or July was my first visit
Okay.
So about 4
to
months.
the sci-fi club there.
Okay. 3 or 4 months, somewhere around there. So, welcome to the show there, James. And for those who are watching in replay, thank you for joining us. As I said, this is going to be a little off because we're trying a new system. We are using Google Plus's Hangout, and we are broadcasting live on YouTube, our YouTube page, which is Tom OC70. So if you go over there to the page, you should be able to pull it up. I don't know. Let me check that out and see.
Was I the only one that did that, or was that everybody?
No, that was just you, man.
And we are.
Was I the only one that did that? That's what I thought.
No, that was just.
And we are live there. Cool.
Sounds like there's a bit of a delay, but.
Yeah, a little bit of delay, and I just
seconds.
muted my microphone, so that will help too.
Cool.
So
We're learning as we go, folks.
yeah, don't expect everything to be perfect on the first show, because it never is. A couple of things we want to go over on tonight's episode. The first thing we wanted to kind of go over was Friday, the numbers, the sales numbers for the month of August came out from Diamond. Now, granted, hello. What the hell is that?
I'm trying to shed some light on the situation.
Woohoo!
I can't see anything on this desk, so.
Okay. Well, I had my spreadsheet pulled up, so I couldn't see anything. So,
For some people, that might be a blessing.
I didn't say anything. Now, keep in mind that these sales numbers are not necessarily the numbers, meaning bought by customers. These are numbers by retailers.
They're not the numbers you're looking for.
Your orders.
These are the orders by the retailers. So that doesn't necessarily mean that these were actually the number one sailors comics sold last month from each store. Anyone want to take a guess what the number one was for last month? You don't have to get the number, just guess the title.
Probably JLA number 12.
Close. Think event related. Event related.
Oh,
Zero.
Avengers versus X-Men.
Well,
oh, really?
Number 9 was number 1 seller, and number 10 was the second. So the top two are Avengers versus X-Men.
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Okay.
Then I need to go back because I've only read up to 7. Number 8, 9, and 10 have been sitting on my shelf, so I must be missing something.
Yeah. Actually, Justice League number 12 was ranked 4th.
Oh, okay.
And you got to remember these were ordered a couple months in advance, so this was well before all the publicity of the Superman Wonder Woman thing, because that's only 2 weeks old.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Any
How
of the
high was
Before
Deadpool
Watchmen
really?
stuff on there?
I'm sorry, Mike.
Any of the Before Watchmen stuff on there?
Yes, actually, rank 6 and rank 8. Before Watchmen, Rorschach number 1, and Before Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan number 1 was 8th. So y'all are doing pretty good guessing these. What about the others? You gotta guess 3, 5, 7, 9, and 10.
Deadpool's got to be somewhere.
No, not on the
Really?
top. Not on the top 20.
Deadpool?
He's never been that big of a seller.
How many Bat titles are on the list?
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Walking Dead's not in the top 20.
Really?
After being number 1 the month before.
Because that was number 1.
But that was number 100, and they also did 283,000 copies of it too.
Yeah, if this is based on seller orders, then yeah, I can see that. They're not going to order anywhere near as many 101s.
So, Bat titles, there is one in the top. There's 2 in the top 10.
All right, we got 7 of them. 3 more to go.
Well, you're not going to get
Alright.
ones.
Detective?
Detective is ranked 10th.
Batman.
Batman is ranked 3rd. So you got the top 4. And you also got 6, 8, and 10.
Was that the Batman Zero that's getting ready to come out?
No.
No.
These were last month, so they're all 12s for DC.
Last month?
There are any more DCs on the list?
Yes. There is one more.
Aquaman.
Nope. He's in the top 20, but not the top 10.
Swamp Thing?
Nope.
Wow. Let me think.
If you think about it, it's pretty obvious. I'll give you a clue. It's been the big seller for the last couple of years.
Green Lantern.
There you go. Green Lantern 12 is ranked 9th.
So we got 2 left.
So you got 2 left. And I'll give you a clue on those. Those are the other 2 Marvels.
Yeah, I was going to say they got to be Marvel.
Yeah. Marvel only has 4 out of the top 10.
Avengers?
No. They're actually 18th.
X-Men?
Uncanny X-Men is ranked 20th. And
Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man 692. The introduction of the new sidekick. That is ranked 5th. So you got the top 6. What's number 7?
Lucky 7.
Lucky Slevin.
So it's... well, it's not an Image title.
No, it's a
No,
Marvel.
we've already established it's Marvel.
Oh, it's Marvel?
Yeah. There are no independents in the top 20, unfortunately, once again.
Oh, that's sad. Let's see.
Let me know when you want another clue.
Do you?
Fantastic Four.
Nope.
Thor?
Nope.
Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man?
No.
Hulk?
Nope.
Smash.
She-Hulk.
Nope. Nope.
We're just throwing darts.
No kidding.
Here's the clue.
Okay.
Event tie-in.
That tie-in.
So who else tied in with AVX?
That's it. AVX versus
All the verses.
the versus
Oh.
book.
Really?
Versus X-Men.
AVX versus number 5.
See, I didn't think people would jump into that as readily.
It's battle scenes.
That's all it is it's fights. So yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I kind of thought when I picked up like the first 2 issues, but after the second issue, I was like, you know, because to me some of the fights were no-brainers, yet they give it to the person who should have lost it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so, to me, I was like, well, if they're going to be like that, I'm not going to read it.
Yeah, I got the first one, and yeah, I knew it was going to be all fights and all that, and it was kind of boring. Believe it or not, fights being boring, but the thing that really got me were the stupid trivia notes or something like that, like the one with I think it was Namor versus Thing, and Namor punches Thing in the Ben Grimm up in the ear, and he flies through the shield helicarrier, and Ben makes a comment about, well, this is going to cost a lot of money, and then down the bottom it says cost of repairs $1.5 million or some joke like that. And I was just like, I mean, there was a lot of that kind of stuff throughout the book, and I was just like, if that's what they're going to do, then screw this.
Yeah, it's at least, you know, give more story type trivia if you're going to do that.
And I think in the latest one, they have Black Panther fighting his ex.
Of course. Of course.
So, what's that going to show? It's going to show up on Judge Judy next or something like that?
All right.
Yeah. Here we are on divorce court.
There are better ways to do cheap humor.
To round out the top 20, at 11 is Action Comics. 12 is Green Lantern Annual 1. Here's a surprise. 13, Earth 2.
Really?
Now, see, I like that one.
I like Earth 2. I'm just surprised that it's doing that well. I mean, I like it, but I wasn't sure how many people would be picking it up.
Yeah.
14 is Batman the Dark Knight. 15 is Batman Incorporated. 16 is Batman and Robin. 17 is Detective Comics Annual number 1.
We got a run going here.
Yeah.
No kidding.
18 is Avengers. 19 is Aquaman, and 20 is Uncanny X-Men. So, let's now.
So you got what, 6 titles from Marvel, maybe?
6 titles out of the top 20. Now, about a year and a half to 2 years ago, DC would have killed to have 6 titles in the top 20.
True.
Yep.
They would have killed to have 2 or 3 in the top 10, because there were some months where they were only 1, if that, and they had 6 last month in the top 10 and 14 in the top 20. So the more interesting numbers are the graphic novel / trades last month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is a little bit more wide open. Anyone want to guess what the number 1 was?
Wow. It's not the Batman hardcover. It covers the first issues of.
You're close.
When the Night of the Owls?
No. Batman Earth 1.
Okay.
Number 1, which is a good story.
Yes, a very good read.
I've heard it was.
It is a very good read. Highly recommend it. Y'all want to guess more, or do you want me to just go ahead and round off like the top 10?
Go ahead and round off for me because
Okay.
Mike might want to play.
No. I'm a little out of touch when it comes to those myself. So.
Do we have Independence in there anyway?
Yes.
Yay.
How many Walking Deads are in there then?
All 4 of Images are Walking Dead trades. There's 4 out of the top 20, and they're all Walking Deads.
Huh.
Number 2 is Walking Dead Volume 1. Number 9 is Walking Dead Volume 2. Number 11 is Walking Dead Volume 16. And 19 is Walking Dead Volume 3.
I think 16 is the latest or something.
Yeah, 16 is the latest. You mentioned Court of Owls. That's actually ranked 5th.
Okay.
That's the hardcover, covering the first 6 issues.
6 issues.
Um,
Not to be confused with Night of the Owls.
no, not
Right.
the recent event. Ranked 3rd is Swamp Thing,
Okay.
Volume 1. 4th is Action Comics. 6 is Hulk Season 1. I didn't even see this come out.
Season 1,
Yeah.
and do you know what it's based on? Is this,
It's just like them. It's them doing like the origins again, like they did Spider-Man Season 1, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and all those.
okay.
This is Hulk's.
I didn't know of that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see it come out.
Although they're going to change it here in a few months.
No, they're not changing origins, are they? They're just going to change in the numbers. They're changing lineups. They're not rebooting this. They're not rebooting the universe. It's just relaunching.
Okay.
7 is Scott Pilgrim Color, hardcover Volume 1.
Which is a fun read.
I haven't tried to read it yet. 8 is Star Wars: The Clone Wars Sith Hunters, which I have not sat down and read yet.
And those are the small.
Now I think this is the regular size.
Okay.
And we already mentioned 9 was Walking Dead. 10 is Fear Itself,
The Marvel times.
the Marvel thing from a year ago.
Now, is that, when they say Fear Itself, are they talking about, didn't they do several issues in one title? Or
Well,
was it just one?
I think this is Fear Itself, and it doesn't say like Fear Itself, Avengers, or that kind of
Okay.
thing. I think it's the main book. 11 is Walking Dead again. 12 is BPRD Hell on Earth Volume 3 Russia. 13 is Uncanny X-Force Volume 4 Dark Angel Saga Book 2.
And there goes James again.
Do what?
And there goes James again.
He's gone again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He'll be back.
Okay. 14 is Ultimate Comics Spider-Man by Brian Michael Bendis, Volume 1.
Okay.
15 is Batman Dark Knight Returns. I guess they've done a new
Print.
print of it.
And I'm sure it's getting in before the cartoon is released.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and Pride
couple
and
weeks.
too.
Yeah. 16 is Sailor Moon, Volume 6.
Uh-huh.
17 is Superboy. This is interesting. 18 is Batman No Man's Land, Volume 3.
That's going ways back.
It's got to be something related to...
Gentlemen, I've got a spotty connection. I'm fixing to have to drop out and reboot. I'll be back as quick as I can.
Okay, no problem.
Did y'all catch that?
Yeah.
All right. See you in a bit.
Alrighty. It's got to be something tied into the movie because there's references in the movie, so that's got to be it.
Okay.
19 is Walking Dead, and then 20 is Batman: The Killing Joke Special Edition hardcover.
Another fine read.
So the breakdown: out of the top 20 trade/graphic novels, 8 are DC, 4 are Marvel, 4 are Image, and 4 are Other.
Okay.
One of those is Dark Horse, and then there's
Sailor Moon.
and then
Who's doing
there's actually two. There's two Dark Horses. You got Star Wars and BPRD.
Yeah.
And then you got Scott Pilgrim and Sailor Moon. Kind of an interesting list.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Be a little more diversity on that list.
Well, I guess when it comes to graphic novels or trades, I guess there's just a uniform order of books. Where comics, Dark Horse or Image or that kind of stuff, they don't print as many books as Marvel and DC. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have as many copies of Alabaster Wolves as you do Action Comics.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if I got to invite James again. Excuse me there.
This is water we're drinking.
Yes, it's water.
You can't prove it otherwise.
So let's go ahead and go into what we were going to talk about tonight. We had been discussing, and this is appropriate for Mike and James once James gets back, because both Mike and James have been out of reading comics for a long time until Mike, you just got back in this year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, it was about the first of the year.
First of the year. And James, I don't know. James has been out.
About the same.
Yeah, okay. James fell out in the early 90s, and that's probably about the same time you fell out, right, Mike? Early to mid-90s?
Yeah, I actually had sort of dabbled back in once or twice in there, but didn't stick with it for very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been the old college years.
Yeah.
Back when I ran out of money.
Woohoo!
College.
Well, you said you dabbled. Was there a reason other than money that you didn't stay in?
I did. Well, I didn't. I just sort of didn't get hooked back into it. It was I'd pick up an off issue of something and it just wouldn't grab me or whatever. I mean, there wasn't any particular reason for it. It just kind of just didn't happen.
Okay, I went ahead and tried to invite James again just in case he couldn't get in. Okay. What we were go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Well, I was just saying, for people who are wanting to get into comics or who've been out for a long time, with so many choices out there, we were thinking about what, if our backlist hit a wall, what would be a title that we say, oh, you got to start with this, start reading this, and
bingo.
And James has joined us again.
I've swapped computers.
He once was lost, but now he's found.
Yeah, the problem is not my connection; it's my computer. So I got on my wife's computer and just I'm gonna reboot it and
writer. Yay! What would be one title that you say, okay, sit down, read this, and you'll be hooked? Let me go ahead and start off.
Okay.
I think we should do this kind of round robin style.
Okay.
Because, I don't know what I mean. I think we originally talked about coming up with a list of 5.
Well, we came up with you were talking about doing a list of 5, but I mean we could. I was just thinking about me saying one, and then everybody else going around and do one, and then after
that's
that
what
we can just throw in.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to suggest. Sorry.
No problem.
So we're sitting in a circle and throw things at each other. Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Woo-hoo. Food fight.
Food. I brought bricks.
Huh?
I didn't bring food. I brought bricks.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go ahead and throw bricks at your computer, Mike. That's all right.
I've wrapped this lovely Danish around a brick. Here you go.
Danish.
Y'all want me to go ahead and go and start first?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, why not?
Okay. More water there. My recommendation would be Rachel Rising. For those who are not aware of the book, it's a title by Terry Moore, who's been around late 80s,
Yes.
late 80s, early 90s when he started up. This is his third series.
Yes.
He did Lost Girls, right?
No, he did Strangers in Paradise.
He did Strangers in Paradise, and then he did Echo.
Echo was okay. My bad. Echo was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
How I got Lost Girls, I don't know.
I'm not familiar with Lost Girls. Now I know of Girls. That's the Luna Brothers.
Yeah.
Which is good too.
Hmm.
Is that what you're talking about, James?
No.
Or is it called Lost Girls?
Let me do a quick search and see what I can find. Because
Okay. Well, Rachel Rising. Well, well, I see Lost Girl, but that's the Sippy show. Lost Girl is a horror story, but not really. It's a horror story, but it's also a mystery, and with a nice drama in there too. There's really not anything supernatural or gory or anything. It's just a nice. It's really a nice mystery because you're just trying to. It basically starts off with a girl named Rachel waking up and realizing she's been buried. She digs herself out of the grave and finds out that everybody believes her to be dead, and she is dead. But she's still able to move around and communicate with everybody. And she's trying to figure out what's going on, and meanwhile, all these other weird things are going on in the town. And we're trying to find out what is going on and what's the story. I know you love the book too.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes.
You want to go ahead and say anything about it?
Yeah, if I could.
Sure.
Couple things. First, my understanding is the first leg of it is collected in graphic novel form.
The first 6 or 7 issues are in trade right now.
Yeah. So if you want to get in on it, that's the way to start.
Yeah.
Finding the back issues is pretty difficult.
They are.
But that being said, I'm going to say that it's one of the most unique concepts I've seen in comics in a long time. It is, like you said, done by Terry Moore, who I hold in high esteem. The man can do expressions like no one else can. He can get across a point without having a word said. He could probably do, and he probably has, done a whole story without
Dialogue.
This is one that was on my list too. Was Rachel Rising? It is a fine book, something different to pick up and read.
It is. I know I've told you this before. It is the one title that, when it comes out, that's the first book I read. And when I put it down, I either say wow or WTF every month.
Yeah.
And I've never done that before. There's not been a book before, and there probably won't be one after it, that I at least go wow every month after I read it.
It hits me similar to his Echo because I read the issue and I want the next one the day after.
Yeah.
Come on, let's keep this going faster. Let's move along a little bit.
Yeah.
And Echo is a fine read also.
Which is collected.
It's a collected version, and that's definitely the way to read it.
That's definitely one you need to hunt for. Stranger in Paradise, they've been put in omnibus form too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So now, Stranger in Paradise is really a soap opera drama type story, but Echo has science fiction in it.
Yes.
So
it relies a lot on science fiction.
Yeah, but I just wanted to throw that out there for y'all who are not familiar with Terry Moore or the books. So they're all worth checking out. Matter of fact, the first trade of Strangers in Paradise was one of the 3 or 4 trades that someone when I went into the store they gave me a money back guarantee. Said,
Yeah.
here you go. Read this. If you don't enjoy it, bring it back and I'll refund your money. I still have the trade.
Yeah.
You don't hear that a lot of places.
No, there's another one. Well, I'll tell another one that I did that would be highly worth checking out. But I don't want to take up everybody's time. Someone want to go next? You want to go next, Les?
Oh, let's let one of
James,
the new
Mike,
guys.
who wants to go next?
New as in to the field again.
I guess I'll take off. One that I'm reading right now that I'm really enjoying is The Massive, and it's independent. Can't remember who does it, but
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. Kind of an eco thriller. Takes place after a series of events that can't be explained. Kind of sets Mother Earth back in the dominant position with humanity, and you've got a ship. Kind of a not a research vessel. They were eco, for lack of a better word, terrorists. Not quite as bad as some of the groups that are out there today, but they also had a mothership called the Massive, and the Massive went missing, and so it's basically the story of them trying to come to terms with the new world, at the same time trying to find their missing ship. And I really, really like it. I'm always intrigued by, the whole Mother Earth taking over. I remember reading something somewhere years and years ago about how humanity is basically a parasite on the body of Mother Earth, and natural disasters and pandemics from diseases we've never discovered are actually her way. Those are her antibodies fighting we parasites, or us parasites. So, and I love reading stories like that. It just really intrigues me, and I'm really, really digging this comic right now.
Cool.
With Brian Wood writing,
I believe so.
he did. He's done a lot of stuff for Marvel, but he also did, I believe it was DMX.
Yes.
And then you've got Christian Donaldson as the artist for the first story arc, who is local.
That's true.
And a fascinating guy. We've seen him out at conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been able to spend much time with him, but he is very talented and very interesting to talk with. I agree with James. It's a great idea for a newbie, a new reader to get in. It's even readers that have been around quite some time, like myself. I was really pleased that I picked this up and said, hey, I can read this. This is good stuff. It's going to hold my interest. And I believe, like James said, it does hold your interest.
Well, plus you don't have to deal with a backstory. Unlike Marvel or DC, when you jump into a character, you probably have 60, 70 years of backstory to deal with, and all the little permutations that have happened, between different writers. And so you get to jump in, start clean with a brand new story, and you're reading the backstory, as it happens. So.
And although I think Donaldson is leaving the title, Wood is staying, so he's going to be authoring it, and I think that's a great idea. That way you've got a steady flow of info.
Right.
Mike, have you tried this one?
I did read the first issue. I have not really kept with it.
Okay.
So, next? Who's next? Mike or Les?
I'll step up. For somebody to start reading, something I really recommend is Bone. Bone is for all ages, and it is a simplistic type of of artwork. It's very simple line work, and it's effective. It's got a lot of humor in it, and I believe that it's well worth the time for anybody to try. It's like I said, it's for all ages. Therefore, it would be something that a 6-year-old could handle. They may have to have somebody explain a couple of the words, but there's nothing in there that is going to be offensive.
Yeah.
And when you have things like a cow race as part of your storyline, you have the main character who is fascinated with Moby Dick. There's constant references. This is one that I think that somebody getting into comics should try. It's by Jeff Smith, and there is a compilation book of it, and it is massive. I thought that Echo was large, but this is over 30, close to 40 issues of work. And it was done originally black and white, and they've also got volumes of color. But it's just as easy to read black and white as it is anyway else.
I know when I worked at Borders Books over in Louisville, we had quite a few kids that would come in looking for that series, so it's still a big seller.
Yeah. Mikey.
I can't put it off any longer, can I?
Huh? What?
Just do 4 in a row and be off the hook.
All right, I'm going to start my stuff off with a title called Planetoid.
Ooh, yes.
It's an Image book, and it's written by a guy named Ken Gehring, and it's only we've only gotten the 3rd issue out so far, but this one hooked me right off the bat. The story is it's in the future. Galaxy is being colonized, and there is they've kind of got an alien empire off to one side in this universe, and the protagonist of the story, Silas, crash lands on this planetoid, and the first issue, the one that hooked me, was simply Silas exploring his new surroundings, figuring out what's going on, figuring out what's around, figuring out how to survive. At the very end of the first issue, he finally meets another person. So you've got this whole issue of this guy just in complete survival mode on this completely alien landscape. And he finally meets one guy, and ultimately the whole backstory behind it is that there is some sort of electronic dampening field on this planetoid, so that nobody can escape. And it turns out there's hundreds of people on it, and he ends up meeting them and starts he's just like, no, I'm going to be the guy who did it. I'm going to escape from this place. And so he starts working on it, and by the end of issue 3, he's dealt with a couple of problems. He's gotten sort of a following going, so he's got some allies, and it's just a really fun story.
Remember, the key to escaping the planet is do not use the rope. It's a Batman reference if you haven't seen the movie. That's probably a poor reference, but there you go.
Not drink the water.
Just a bit outside.
I'm going to jump back in. I mentioned how the first trade of Stranger of Paradise was a money-back guarantee. I'm going to mention another one that I was given that offer to, and it's from our friend Joel. It was a graphic novel called Pride of Baghdad
Yes.
by Brian K. Vaughan.
I've heard of that one. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I've heard it.
Okay. It is based on an incident. I guess, was it from the Second Gulf War?
I believe so.
Where soldiers encountered four lions that were part of Saddam Hussein's private zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Vaughn just took that little story, just a little idea. I mean, it was just nothing of a story, and made it into, well, it's 3 adult lions and a cub, and just what happens to them when all this is going on, and they're trying to escape. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I won't ruin the ending and all that, but I mean, Joel did me as a money back guarantee, and he says, "Dude, these are talking animals. You know, I don't read stories about talking animals, but this is good." And it was.
Yeah. It's
And-
very good. Very entertaining.
Brian K. Vaughan, who also did Why the Last Man, which is also highly recommended. Ex Machina, which I have not
Ex
read.
Machina. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was one of the writers of Lost.
Yeah.
So he's a good writer.
The Ex Machina, I've read 1 or 2 issues of that, and that did sound really, really interesting. I don't know why I didn't pick it back up, but that would be one that I would probably pick up later on down the line and finish. Has there been any other movement on Why the Last Man as far as the movie goes?
Actually, I just posted a news item yesterday or Sunday that New Line is trying to move on with it. That they have a script that they like, so they're now looking for a director. And I just posted the comment. I just really wish they wouldn't do a movie. It would actually be a series.
Well, there's enough material for it, so that would be the logical progression.
But
I would go with Showtime or HBO, present it to them, and say, "Look, this is what we would like to do."
And do it as a series. I think the movie would suffer. Not because of the story, but it would be hard to condense a story arc into 2.5, 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That it really needs to be an ongoing. That's just me.
Jonah Hex.
Well, I mean, if they could do this
Let's not even get started on Jonah Hex.
if we can do this with Walking Dead, I think Why the Last Man would be a great series. Even AMC or USA could pick these up. And USA is NBC. So
Yeah, but
It's
don't
something-
mention that because some people start bringing up Wonder Woman.
well, but see, it's like they've done before. You can always take those shows like they did Monk on USA and put it on one of the big
USA,
three.
Yeah.
And I think that they could
Well, they
possibly
could-
do that with this.
Well, they could start it off on USA, and then if it gets popular enough, they can do the repeats on NBC.
Right.
They've done that.
Well, if there were any brains running the outfit called Sci-Fi Channel, this would be a great way to actually kind of change their direction. But that requires brains, so that's not going to happen.
Well, that's not sci-fi; it's sci-fi. That's the problem.
Well,
They've
you know,
lost.
what's that?
They've lost sci-fi.
Well, that's what I mean. If they would, I understand the whole Imagine Greater thing, but they lost me when they imagined greater with WWE. And they get in these ruts where, how many more paranormal shows do we need? So if they were really, really wanting to solidify themselves as imagining greater, I can forego the whole sci-fi. All right, they're wanting to incorporate some more genres. But if they want to really, concrete their fan base and probably bring in some more people, find a sci-fi show or a fantasy show and make it their own on a larger scale, like AMC has done, like Showtime has done. Make it a Game of Thrones, make it a Walking Dead. But, they've done good work with Warehouse 13, Eureka, Alphas, that kind of thing. But to me, this would be a broader scale, more mass appeal. You're bringing in people that probably don't watch Sci-Fi Channel in the first place. And to me, it would, if it was me running the show, and I had actually made the dumb mistakes they've made in the past, that type of thing, I would see this type of opportunity as a chance to say, you know what, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to bring in more people. I'm going to solidify the base that I've already got, and we're going to go head-to-head with AMC, Showtime, and all these other places. But that's just me.
Okay.
No,
I can't tell if y'all are just laughing at him going and looking at the
No.
Listen to him. Isn't he so cute when he babbles like that?
You make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the deal. The deal is we're just sort of smiling and nodding in agreement.
Yeah.
I thought y'all just thought maybe I was a little deranged.
We're smiling with you there, James.
Not at you.
Not at you. You're preaching to the choir here with regarding them.
I know. I just wish I could get that choir to stand outside the executive's door and start singing. It's just so frustrating.
It wouldn't make it good. It wouldn't do any good, unfortunately. But that's the latest I've heard regarding that.
We can only hope that, like James said, they come to their senses.
I really think that it just comes down to what we need to really do is just start our own TV show or our own TV channel. That's really all that we can do.
We can do it with puppets.
Considering our starting budget, yeah, that's probably all we can do.
I thought technically that's what we were doing here.
Wow.
There's no hand at my behind.
I've actually been taking lessons the last couple of weekends. I know TCM has been playing the Thunderbirds movies. So I've been watching.
Bad puppets. Bad marionettes.
They were showing Thunderbird 6 this past Saturday, so I happened to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I got a puppy. So I was up and I was like, okay, I'll watch it because I hadn't really watched them.
Besides, you had to hit the convention.
That's true. Yeah, we should talk about that convention a little bit, but let's get through this first.
Let's press on.
Let's press on. Next, I just mentioned about 4 or 5 titles right there, so y'all got to catch up.
I'm going to go with the one that was on your list, The Killing Joke.
Killing Joke.
I know it's an older piece, but it is one of the finest crafted works.
It's still a good story.
And it's something that could fit. It was not originally written for the...
It was out of continuity.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was not in continuity, but it was so well received that the characters were all of a sudden were sprung from it. Oracle became a real strong person because of it.
Yeah.
And I think that is, was it Grant?
It was Alan Moore.
Moore. One of Moore's greatest works.
Alan Moore.
And he's done enough himself. But
Dum diddy.
And then Brian Boland did the artwork.
Thank you for catching that, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I figured you would.
Oh yeah.
Brian Boland's artwork is beautiful in that.
Yes.
If anyone can make the Joker look beautiful, it's him.
And insane at the same time.
Beautiful and insane, yes. Boy, that just sounds weird, doesn't it, that I said that.
And we're happy that you did.
Yeah, we're so glad it was you that said it.
Well, but the artwork is awesome. The artwork is incredible.
Yes, truly outstanding. Because he shows well, and he's done stuff before. He did Camelot 3000.
Oh yeah, he's been around forever.
But he's mainly known for covers.
Yeah.
He did so many covers for Wonder Woman, for one. But he stepped out and did this graphic novel, and it's a standalone, but it's part of the realm of Batman.
Yeah.
It was accepted into the continuity.
Well, let's give a proper shine of our light on how popular the story is. It was on that list of being reprinted again. It originally came out in '89.
Yes.
So it's still being reprinted. It's still going back to the printers several times. The original graphic novel had at least 10 printings.
13 that I know of.
13, yeah. So.
And which novel is this?
The Killing Joke.
Killing Joke? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I'm thinking there was closer to 20 printings, and that's not counting the Absolute Killing Joke, and then there's so many other printings. Less.
Yes, it has definitely been milked.
One that I had just picked up recently, I think it's only 4 issues out so far, is The Harbinger. And I wouldn't necessarily, well, actually I was going to go back, that's one, but even a little bit further back than that I would really say that might get people into comics. Morning Glories, the first volume. I picked that one up, and was done with it in just a couple of hours because it was just it's a great story. I have yet to pick up the second volume, start reading it, but it's definitely one that'll get read eventually. But along the same lines of people with certain powers, kids and a certain teenagers with certain powers and stuff, Harbinger's a really good one that's out right now too. Again, I think issue 4 just came out recently, and that's one that I'm liking.
Morning Glories, Joe Eisma is a local guy too. Dude does the art.
Yep,
he's a local man. Both are good. But I have not read Morning Glories, but I've been wanting to. I've heard a lot of good things about it. But Harbinger is good. All the Valiant books are good so far. They've had a nice return.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Talking about local guys, in fact, y'all were mentioning the Rachel Rising, kind of the whole undead thing, girl coming back. Josh Howard's series, Dead at 17. Have y'all read those?
I have not, but I think Les has.
Yes.
In fact, I can't remember who it's through. He's got a movie deal that he's working on right now, but I haven't heard anything else about it. Then that's supposed to be turned into a movie. But I love that series. The whole girl coming back from the dead. She's got some kind of destiny that she has to fulfill, and everything seems to be moving towards the apocalypse. It's an end of days type story that I like, and I think a lot of people would like it. Another one of those gateway books that would drag people in.
Yeah. Another one that's female empowering is Hack Slash.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. About she's not the normal girl who usually is the one that's survived the slasher film. She was her mom was going around killing people, and she killed her, so she basically become a monster hunter, going after all the slashers and monsters and that kind of stuff. And Hack is her bodyguard kind of like Frankenstein, but not really, that kind of thing. It's been pretty good.
We need more of those kind of people today. Good for society.
Something I'm reading now is the Zeros from DC.
Okay.
There's supposed to be a new set of them coming out tomorrow. And I recommend these because although they're not a starting point, they do give you a little bit of background with the stories that they produce. The Action Comic story had, one of them was called The Boy Who Stole Superman's Cape. And it is a really good read. It's not just, here I'm going to fly and beat the villains. It's an actual heart story. There's something to it. Although it's only 15, 16 pages long.
Yeah.
The Zeros give you some information about the various characters, and if you're looking to start reading a DC title, that may be where to start and say, okay, I like this character. I'm going to go ahead and read the upcoming issues and maybe even buy the back collections, which are coming.
So he stole it. He didn't tug on it. He stole it.
He stole it.
Did he spit into the wind while he was doing it?
How'd I know you guys were going to go that direction?
Too bad.
The fun part is to find out how many people who watch this will actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It'd be a small number, probably. But that's okay. We loved it. That's all we care about.
And we're really just doing this to amuse ourselves anyway. So
That's right.
No, I really do recommend the Zeros. I didn't know some of the background for the incarnations for, say, Swamp Thing or Animal Man. But now it looks like interesting stuff. I may have to go back and start reading it.
Okay. Got to ask you a question.
No, you can ask, but
What'd you think of Phantom Stranger?
that's one of the two titles I haven't read.
Oh, damn.
The two titles I haven't read are Detective. Well, three titles are Detective, Earth 2, and Phantom Stranger.
4 titles. Amongst the titles I have not read are...
We know that there are too many to be mentioned here.
I had to do it because he started it.
the comfy chair.
Do I have to bring out my collection so you can see how many I've not read?
Damn. That's the one I would really love to hear what you think of, because Phantom Stranger is one of your characters. I can't believe you hadn't read that. That was one of the first ones you didn't read.
You see, I look at it the other way. I read, to me, the weak ones, and then I work my way to the strong one.
I definitely want to know what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of stuff about it too. I won't tell you what I've heard, but
Well, you've read the Free Comic Book Day thing, right? And granted, you slept
Yeah.
since then.
Yeah.
So you know who they're saying the Phantom Stranger is, right?
I have no recall of it. Okay.
Well, they kind of expand on that in this, and we also, well, I won't go any further than that.
Well, it's like I said with, say, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing to me has always been Alec Holland.
Yeah.
Well, no, they give you a little bit of a twist on this.
Yeah.
That the Swamp Thing has been around for centuries.
Well, here's the thing with Phantom Stranger. I don't know that much about the character, but I don't think they've ever really given any kind of a... They've always been mysterious about his
A
background.
background story. Yeah, they've always been unknown there. He's almost, well,
He's almost a blank slate.
to me, Watcher from Marvel is their version of Phantom Stranger.
Yes, but we know about him.
But,
We know about
but
the Watcher.
But the Watcher does not make contact in the stories. He just relates the things that are going
He
on.
very rarely gets involved. It's only at great importance or some such, but he's not supposed to get involved.
But the Phantom Stranger gets involved.
Gets more involved, yes.
No, I'm sorry to say I have not read that one yet, but
Okay.
it's coming up within the next day.
Okay. I was wanting to know because I wanted to see what you were thinking about how they're going to go with this. I mean, I know a lot of people are trashing it up, but I think they're doing it more because of who's writing it rather than what was written.
Who is writing it?
Dan DiDio.
Okay. I don't see that that's a problem, but
Because he's the face of DC right now.
so is Joe Quesada is the face of Marvel, and he writes.
Well, not really, not anymore. He's moved up.
Well,
He's the chief creative officer now, or whatever I call it.
He's gotten promoted above the writing drudgery.
But Dio, if anybody hates something that's going on with DC, Dio is the one that gets all of the brunt, warranted or not.
yeah, he gets the flack.
He gets the crap.
I actually applaud the guy for continuing to write while he's in that position too, because it's keeping him. That's something that's going to keep him in touch with what's really going on in there. I mean, I think that's a good thing.
And he interacts with the fans too, because I've seen it on his Facebook page. I'm Facebook friends with him, and I've contacted him. I actually asked him about them doing a who's who for the new 52, and he says, "Yeah, we're thinking about that. We're just having to figure out how we're going to do this." And this was about this time last year. And of course, what they're doing now with the issue zeros at the back, there's one.
Sorry about that.
Welcome aboard.
I thought I had my phone turned off. It's just my brother-in-law. I don't want to talk to him anyway.
Well, there you go. Glad we could provide a distraction for him.
You mean he's not watching us?
He's not into comic books or tech, so he's out there.
Poor devil.
Yeah.
But they're doing this one page of who's who in each issue of the zeros. That's not really what I was hoping for, but at least it's a little something.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's done pretty well with trying to talk to the fans, and I mean he gets crap about some of the stuff he says, but hey, you're going to do that when you do a lot of talking.
You're right.
You're going to say some things that people are not going to like.
You're going to tick somebody
Sure.
off, no matter what you say.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to throw one more title out here.
All right.
One that I have found interesting lately has been The Spider.
Yep.
Dynamite has gotten hold of a handful of pulp names and has started putting out. And they've got a Shadow book. They've got Spider, and I'm actually really enjoying the Spider more so than I am the Shadow. The Shadow seems a little cluttered to me, but the Spider's got a really. They've modernized him so that it's a little more modern day. But it's the story. The first storyline they're working on is actually really fun. They've got a really interesting bad guy and some fun effects going on, and the art is absolutely beautiful in this book. So if you're going to use art to catch the newbies, to drag them in, then this might be a really good title to do it with.
And not only is it a pulp figure, but then Dynamite is coming out with masks.
They're doing a crossover of all the folk characters. Yeah.
Which includes Green Hornet
And Zorro.
Zorro.
And some of the others. Yep.
So I think that's a great idea.
Because
It should be.
they've actually kept Shadow in like the 30s, but they've got Spider working modern day. So those other guys are off in their own little time frames too. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how they do this crossover thing.
Yeah.
I was just looking at some of the artwork. That does look really well, really good. And I'm a fan of old pulp stuff, like you said, the Phantom, the Shadow, all of that type of work. So that'd definitely be one that I would like to check out.
If they could only get Doc Savage in the group, it'd be great to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the Avenger.
Yeah. Oh, yes, the Avenger also.
Yeah, kind of pick up the characters that kind of failed in that first wave thing that DC tried to do a couple of years ago.
Which is sad because, to me, that was a strong story. The Doc Savage books were really good.
Well, you mentioned the Avenger. Wonder if it's just a matter of time before they pick up other. I remember more from the 70s and the 80s. My stepmother, of all people, had tons of the Doc Savage novels, the Avenger, Mac Bolan, the Destroyer. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the Destroyer turned into a movie called Remo Williams?
Yes,
I think you're right.
so.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think I had that recorded on my DVR. It was on the other night. Fred Ward plays him, man, and to me, when I watched that when I was a kid, that was just a hilarious movie. In fact, it's got what's her name plays Captain Janeway in it. But yeah, to see you know, some comic books that kind of bring back the old 70s type of pulp stuff like the Destroyer and Mac Bolan, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Dynamite's doing several of them.
So I like the independents because they do take some chances and they do pull stuff that, you know, you've never seen before or you just haven't seen in a while, and I like that.
Something else I want to bring up for people getting back into comics is Will Eisner work. Just about anything by Will Eisner, the man who brought you graphic novels.
Yeah.
He's done several graphic novels. He's the creator of The Spirit. And please don't make any references to that horrible movie.
I still have not watched that.
You were one of the lucky few then.
Okay.
Eisner's work is extremely simple. I go back to simple line work and such, and his fits that image just as Jeff Smith's Bone did. It's just something that can be read by anybody because it was originally newspaper inserts on Sunday mornings. They were 8-page inserts. And when you do 8 pages of artwork for a newspaper, then you're putting out something because they're looking at a continuous story every week. And his stories may take a month to tell, but they're all worth it.
Yep.
Dead air.
There.
The only other one that I can bring to mind, I would love to call it a gateway comic book, but I can't because there was only one issue. I'm still waiting on the other one, and I think it was called Player Character. I keep wanting to call it NPC, and that's not right, but it's basically the typical story about a person who's pulled from real life into a game, and supposedly, huh? Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to blow the wheels off here.
No, it's maybe it was non-player character. I always have a problem trying to find it. Yeah, it was. It's called Non-Player. That's what it was, and it was written by. Hold on, I'm getting the information here. By Nate Simpson, and it won the 2011 Russ Manning Award. But it came out 32 pages of just gorgeous work, And ever since then, it's nothing else has come out because supposedly the guy was tied up in. As soon as he put the first issue out, they automatically wanted to option for a movie. And so while they're working on settling for the movie and everything, he pretty much either put his writing on hold for it or was told that he couldn't write anymore for it or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, or at least a year and a half, I mean, just gorgeous artwork and nothing after that first issue. But, what started off, it seemed like a very interesting story, and just the artwork just pulled me in and then left me hanging there.
Who was the publisher on that?
That was
Image?
Image, yeah.
Yeah, I see here it was January of last year when they did the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. I hate to see that happen.
Yeah, that's way too long to wait for something to come out again.
Yep.
But it wasn't a complete story, James?
No, it was just the first issue, and it was just getting into, the meat of it, and then, you're waiting for the next issue next month, and nothing. And like I said, from what I can find on wikis and the guy's own personal website and everything, basically they were already talking about optioning it out for a movie, and then just everything getting tied up in litigation. So whatever he had written so far or drawn so far wasn't able to go any further than that.
Wow.
Which to me, it's one of those things where I would say, you know what? Hey, let me get the comic out first, and then let's talk about, movie or. But then again, I don't know his monetary situation. Maybe he really needed the money.
Yeah. You never know.
Well, it says here that first of 6 issues went on sale in April of last year. So you would figure that it would be done before the end of the year in 2011. But we're sitting and waiting.
Yeah, almost at the end of year 2012, and still. Then again, who knows? Maybe he's just like George R. Martin. I don't know if you've ever seen the T-shirt. It says George R.R. You done. Just talking about how George R.R. Martin, how he takes so long between books. And of course, the whole thing argument there is, hey, if the guy's putting out quality material that he's winning awards on, don't you want him to take his time and put it out? So maybe he's just taking his time with the comic book, making sure that he's putting out a perfect product.
Yeah, but you think there would be at least some kind of update saying, hey, yeah, I know it's been forever, but I'm working on it. Maybe even tease some of the art. I know some of the others do.
Well, and of course, from that side, from the authors that I've worked with, like I'm working with the author that I work with doing his social media and stuff, I have to squeeze him like a turnip to get stuff out of him for me to post. So it may be the same thing with this guy. He may not be social media savvy or website savvy, or maybe he just doesn't have anybody that works with him like that. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but then again, he just may. Who knows?
What I can see, the artwork is similar to Mobius.
Exactly, yeah, that's who I was trying to think of.
Very good, very intricate. Maybe a little bit of Darrow in there also.
It seems to flow together. It flows very well.
Yes, very pretty. Very nice stuff. We may have to get on the bandwagon there too and get them to finish that run. At least give us a book and say this is the story. This is all 6 issues.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Any other recommendations?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I'm kind of dry now.
How dry I am.
But,
All right, I'll throw one more out. for those who are maybe a little bit burned out on the Marvel and DC focus on supers, I'm actually going to recommend another book that is based on supers.
But
How dare you?
Just because it is done differently and it's done in an interesting way. The book is called Hypernaturals.
oh yes, yep.
Put out by Boom Studios, and it's got some really fun twists on the supers concept. It's set in the distant future, and the premise is the Hypernaturals is like the mega super team. It's like the Avengers of the future, only better. And the very first page of the very first issue, the entire team disappears. They're just gone. They get sent to this. They get teleported to this planet to check out some problem, and they're just gone.
Okay.
So what they have to do is they drag a couple of previous members, and they end up tracking down their since they're constantly working on building and putting together new members. They drag a couple of rookies in to attempt to figure out what happened. So they send these people to this planet to figure out what happened to the first team. They send the second team to find out what happened to the first team. Kind of dangerous, I would think, but and they're on issue 3 now of, I'm not sure how long the arc is, but it's just had some fun twists. They're still sort of pointing at this one bad guy they faced before, but it's still not sure it's really him doing this stuff. And there's some other dramatic stuff going on in the background with another previous member, and it's just a lot of fun stuff. It's, like I said, it's kind of a supers book for people who are kind of tired of supers books like I am.
It's funny you mentioned that when it brings to mind. I had heard of I don't know if this is a graphic novel or just a book, but it's called No Hero. Bob Moore, No Hero. It's by Tom Andry, and it's basically it's a world where superheroes dominate the world, and this guy's just an everyday average guy. He's a private eye, and he's investigating basically a superhero has been pulled into a crime and he's known him for some time, and he's been pulled in to investigate, even though the other superheroes in the world and the police don't think there is a crime. And it just sounds like a really interesting book. I'm looking at it. I think it is just a book, but to me that would make a great graphic novel or a story arc like that. Where superheroes are the dominant, and you've just got a few, for lack of a better word, mundanes running around.
Mike, I'm glad that you brought up Hypernaturals. I'm surprised that I did not bring it up. The book is written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. The duo have been writing a lot of the cosmic books for Marvel and DC. The Guardians of the Galaxy, which the characters that they've been writing are going to be basically going to be in the movie that will be out in a couple of years. They've done the Legion, they've done Nova, they've done a lot of the cosmic space heroes. So Hypernaturals is right down their alley, except for it's their own characters, so they can do whatever they want to, and kill them off like may have what happened to the original team. Who knows? So yes, it has been a fun ride so far. It's been very interesting, and I'm glad that you brought that up. It's been good so far. It really has.
Now, as far as characters, like James was talking about, the world of superheroes or something like that, there are several out there. But if you want to read something that doesn't have superheroes in it, it's called Super Crooks.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this one. Yeah.
by Mark Millar, who takes the idea of the villains are always realize that they're always getting beaten up by the superheroes, so they decide to take one more heist, one major heist, but they're going to do it in Spain because supposedly Spain has no superheroes.
Is it by choice or just the way the dice rolled?
It's by choice, actually, and I think what makes it so much fun, although you have to watch out for the language in it, but what makes it so much fun is that you get their thought process as to why they want to do this and what they're going to do, and then all of a sudden it's over, which is kind of sad because it's only 4 issues long. Yet it's one of those that he wraps up so well in 4 issues, where you really don't say, "Gee, I want more," because with that 4th issue, I believe he showed you that here's the end of the story. We're not looking for much of anything to expand on.
Okay. Well, it's funny James. You talked about a normal person in a world full of superheroes. When you started talking about that book, first thing I thought of was Normal Man, which I picked up in the last year, and that's a funny book. And the premise is the baby of the father was a tax accountant or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And the planet was going to be in peril, so he put his baby in a rocket ship and it sent it off. Okay, this is basically a Superman origin.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the ship gets altered off course and lands on this planet where everybody is a superhero or a supervillain. He is the only non-powered character on the planet.
Yeah.
And it is funny. It is a funny read.
Normal Man. All right.
One word by Jim Valentino.
Yeah.
All right.
Given how many odd references we've made so far, let's go ahead and throw Bicycle Repairman out there.
Bicycle Repairman? Look how he airs up that tire.
And also coming to rescue you, that guy.
There you go. Or that girl, Marlo Thomas.
Yeah. Who was that guy?
2 short-lived series were Irredeemable and Incorruptible.
Incorruptible. Very good. Very good super books, but they were not traditional.
No.
They were not, I've read this before.
Yeah. Or Last of the Greats is another one.
Last of the Greats is another one.
I thought maybe.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, why did they discontinue him? Or
Mark Waid just felt that
He told a story.
he basically told the story, and
okay.
he's writing so many other books that he really didn't want to hand the books off to someone else, and he didn't want to start telling inferior stories because he's being pulled in different directions. And I don't blame him. And I'm glad he did that. That means those stories are what he wanted to tell, and you got his best work.
Yeah.
some writers don't know when to call it quits.
There are those, yes.
Those would then become inexpensive and indescribable. Books 3 and 4.
So I applaud him for making that choice because those were doing very well,
Mm-hmm.
and he could have kept on going. I applaud him for that. That couldn't have been an easy decision.
No, but we've also talked with Steve Niles, who is stopping his run,
He's stopping one of his books. We do not know which one.
supposedly.
Supposedly, he's stopping one either 30 Days of Nights or Criminal One of those books will supposedly cease publications after the crossover, and not even at the time we did the interview, which you can see on our YouTube page, he wasn't even sure who that was, because he had two different endings, at least two different endings, right?
Yes.
He wasn't sure which one he would actually submit. So. All right, guys. Any other suggestions? That's quite a few.
Hopefully, the audience will decide to try some of these out.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be wasting their time with any of them.
I don't think so either.
Read the list or be called a loser. That is a good list, though.
Got you down for the list.
There's some that we talked about that I'm looking forward to now.
Yeah. Mike, you got any others?
I'll throw out what could turn out to be the elephant in the room, Saga.
Another Brian K. Vaughan.
Yes.
I can't believe I forgot mentioning that one when I mentioned all these other titles. So, yeah, that is another good one. Very good one. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very unusual premise, too. It's a good read, but it's got such a unusual premise.
And it's got an interesting balance of humor and just raw, sheer, brute violence that it's just a fun. You just never. You turn the page, you're not really sure what's going to be there. It's kind of fun.
Nice change of pace, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's going to be in a compilation book soon too, if not already.
The first 6 issues will be collected.
Yeah, the last one I saw was 6, so it's probably coming in a month or two.
And actually, that is, if I'm not mistaken, that is the first series where every single issue has at least gone to second printing. The first issue is already gone to a 5th printing.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
That sounds familiar.
Obviously it is doing well and people are reading it.
Good.
Oh, and I'm looking at an interview that he did with IO9, and just from the illustrations they're showing, it is definitely for a mature audience, but definitely makes me want to read it. Not from the illustrations, but the other stuff that I'm not that 12-year-old. Though, well,
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that kind of steps in those traps.
I walk into them while pointing at them.
Fiona Staples, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
is the artist.
The artist.
She's
very nice artwork.
Her work is very beautiful.
Yeah, that's part of the interview. She was there also, so it's an interview with both of them on IO9. In fact, if anybody's looking for it, it's when was that? Back in August.
Okay.
That's
August 13th was when it was done.
Okay. That shouldn't be too hard to find. It's only about a month. Just about a month old.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. Alrighty, any other suggestions before we decide to call it an evening?
I've got my list for tomorrow.
Come see us.
I definitely will. Speaking of, all right, throw in one more. I've been a big reader of the Batman family. Batman and Robin, Batgirl, and I just recently picked up the first 2 issues of Batwing just to see if I was going to like it, and I think I'm going to start picking up the rest of them. But with Batwing Zero, I really like that series. Nobody that knows anything about it out there, it's basically Batwing is the guy who plays the character is an African. It takes place in Africa, and basically he's fighting, warlords and that type of corruption that you're only going to see in Africa. And he is given Wayne tech as a part of Batman Incorporated. So, and I'm really digging it because it does, you get the tech, but you also get things that you're only going to see in Africa. It's that type, again, fighting warlords and dealing with the Lost Boys of the Sudan and that type of thing. And I really find the story interesting, at least, past the first 2 issues. Now, I may get issues 3 and 4 and change my mind on it, but so far it's really good, a really good series.
I am enjoying the main title, Batman. It's been a very fun read with the whole Owls, Court of Owls thing.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Snyder's doing a great job, and it's really turned into a not. The secret is more or less out that he's going to be doing another title next year, a Superman title, which I'll be very curious to see how he handles that character. But I'm enjoying Batman a lot. So it's been a great read because what he's done with this whole thing of Court of Owls is he's gone in. Yeah, some of it's kind of retcon and because he's gone in and said that the whole Court of Owls and all that's been around well before, even back in the 1800s and that kind of stuff. It's been around that long, and it has so many ties to the immediate Bat family. Some people may not like that because you're basically kind of going around, kind of like you're finding holes and trying to drill and put in your own thing. But you got to, with a character that's been around 75 years. You want to do something different. You got to do stuff like that. But I've enjoyed it because I don't think he's done anything to destroy the character or what came before. He's just found some interesting ties, kind of throw it in, and it's been enjoyable.
Yeah, and the Court of Owls is going to be tossing out a spinoff.
Yeah, it's true.
And in the Night of the Owls storyline brought even in Jonah Hex as somebody in early Gotham City.
Yeah,
battling
the Court of Owls at that time. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, the Court of Owls have been around at least that long, since the days of Jonah Hex.
I think the Night of the Owls touched every title but Batwoman.
Yep.
I think everything else had a tie to
every Bat title but that one.
And then they're doing the spinoff, which is going to be a 0 issue to start, and that's Talon.
Yeah.
So
that one I'm kind of looking forward to also. But hey, explain to me this: how did Batwoman miss it? I mean, was she out of town that weekend, or what?
Well, she's having more ties to what's the organization? She's kind of been being an agent for, was it Shade or Checkmate or?
I was Checkmate.
It may be Checkmate. I'm not sure, but she's pretty much with that organization, so she's not really having that much interaction with the rest of the Bat family. So that's why.
She's the black sheep of the Bat family.
But I'm voting. So, any others?
I can go into crime comics that are good reads. Stumptown, I told you about, is based in Portland, Oregon. And this one is a story of a private detective that is hired to find a missing girl. And there's a lot of family intrigue in this one. Then you've got Near Death,
Yeah.
Epic Kill, and then, of course, as mentioned earlier, the Spider, the Shadow, things like that.
There's one more I'd like to add. When you get it.
Go right ahead.
The first issue actually comes out tomorrow, but there's already been an issue 0. It's from Dark Horse called The Creep.
Yes.
I definitely recommend this one. It is a noir,
Mhm.
but it's a little different. But I'm digging. I'm actually doing a review for it for this week. But I'll give you a sneak peek saying that I enjoyed it. The fact that I'm talking about it should tell you that it's going to be a good review.
It first appeared in Dark Horse Presents.
Dark Horse Presents, and the 0 is actually reprinting those chapters.
Right. And this is one that I do recommend also. Anybody else? Anybody want the dog pile?
Bueller?
Yep, I'm really done now.
Okay.
We're good.
Alrighty then. Are you done? Yeah.
Oh,
done.
one more thing. Never mind.
Anybody else want to take a last whack at this dead horse?
Come on, Nelly, come on!
All right.
No, what were you going to say?
Now I can't hit.
Oh,
Milk that joke. Milk that joke.
With that, we will call it an evening. I hope you enjoyed this show. I definitely have. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, James, for joining us, and I hope you will be with us from now on if you can.
Until the end of time.
And definitely check out his blog, Galaxy Called Dallas. We have a link on our website. Just go to the About the Fellowship page and go down to the bottom, and there's a link right there.
Oh, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
happy to.
You're one of our friends, so we're going to try to promote you. So go check out his blog. We will be back in 2 weeks. We are back on a regular schedule now after things had kind of got off kilter for a little bit. And I do apologize for that because it's really all on me. But we're back on schedule, so we'll be back on the 25th. And you'll be in good shape because you'll be back from Hawaii. So until then, feel free to email us with any kind of suggestions or questions, comments. Email at the fellowshipofthegeeks.net. I will remind you that we are doing our Hall of Fame voting. I really haven't been promoting that as much as I should, and I do apologize for that. But it is going on, so check it out and get the vote for your favorite writers, artists, creators, and Ionic characters. You have until the end of this month, and then we will announce the Hall of Fame class. Will be the 1st of October. So, and of course, we'll have our Max Goodman recipient too.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything else we need to promote before we wind up?
Facebook and Twitter.
We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Fellowship of the Geeks. We're on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. We're on Google Plus.
It'd be kind of hard to deny that at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well,
We snuck in.
I understand that, but but some people may be watching this on our YouTube page. So,
Fair enough. We're on YouTube.
and of course we have the YouTube page, of course.
We have a forum that we have attached to our website. Please feel free.
Yeah, we
to
have the
discuss things.
forum, which it's been kind of sparse recently.
It's been quiet.
It's been very quiet, to say the least, but feel free to post any kind of questions or discussions, anything you want us to talk about, anything you want to just throw out there, who would win a fight between Superman and Mighty Mouse, that kind of thing.
This sounds like a job for Forum Bomber.
There you go.
Just gotta log in and drop a question here or there every so often.
There you go.
Absolutely. We love that stuff.
What should I have for supper?
Go with the chicken.
I do have one thing.
Okay.
There is a film coming out at the Cinemark 17. They're at Webb's Chapel and Beltline. I'm sorry, Webb's Chapel and 635.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Iron Sky. This is a comedy, and you can see clips of it at ironsky.net.
Okay.
I recommend this. They're trying to get enough people committed to come see the movie so they can show the film.
Nope. That's the deadline for that was yesterday,
Was it?
and they failed miserably, which is very sad.
That is sad. I'm sorry we couldn't get word out before.
I even reserved my ticket, sent word out. It's been a movie that's been, 2.5, 3 years in the making?
Yes.
And then to have it come out and have some actually big-name actors in it, I was just very disappointed because the one time they showed it one day, and then they come back with this, and you get a second chance to watch it, and they needed 56 tickets sold to get a second one. But in everybody's defense, they really didn't put a lot of warning out about it. I think they ran 3 days trying to get 56 people, which I'm sure they thought, 56 people, that should be easy. Well, granted, social media reaches a lot of people, but you got to hope to reach those people when they're on the internet.
Yeah.
And so I'm from old school promotions. You give everything you do 6 weeks lead time. And with the 3 days lead time they put on it, they only got about 36 out of the 56 they needed. So
Well, that's a shame.
hopefully they'll try again, because I would love to see this on the big screen. It just looks like a great movie.
I agree.
Okay. With that, I guess we will call it an evening. Hope everybody has a good 2 weeks. Don't forget voting for Hall of Fame. Just go to our website, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Just click on the Hall of Fame tab, and there's the list over there. So
Please let us know.
please do. Until then, y'all have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
Good night.